Welcome, everyone. Let's talk about recommenders. Let's talk recommenders for your college applications. Right now, I'm inside my fake Common App, and you might be using different systems like the Coalition app or specific state school applications. It's all pretty much the same, but let's talk about what you must do with recommenders. Common misconceptions about recommendations, especially what you hear from guidance counselors. Number three, how to amp up your status with other recommenders. The timeline for number four. And number five, technical issues, what to expect. So inside the Common App, and that's the most common college application there is, you would go to your college section and you can look under every college that you might be applying to and what their requirements are. So we're going to pick on Boston College today, and you can go right into the recommender and FERPA section. So number one, you have to sign your FERPA. That is a federal release stating that you understand that you're not able to see the recommendations before your recommenders upload them. You have to do it, unfortunately, in order to have teachers, guidance counselors, and other recommenders uploading their recommendations. So I would say get that done, and then it opens up everything within the recommendation section. Your guidance counselor has to upload your transcript and will most likely do a counselor recommendation for you. In addition to that, let's talk about what you must do. So you can see what's required by each school. Boston College here is requiring 2 teachers, especially if you're applying to colleges with an acceptance rate of 20% or below. Go by this rule. This is a must do. Pick 2 teachers, 2 core academic teachers. By this, I mean they have taught you history, English, science, or math for a full year, not an elective course, okay? And you've had them more recently than not. So hopefully you can get a teacher that has taught you in 11th grade. Maybe they will teach you again in 12th grade, or they've taught you in 10th. But 11th grade is ideal. 2 core teachers, which does not include foreign languages, religion, things of that nature. We'll talk about that later. And the reason why I say this, so many students get pushed from early action to regular action because by the time the college figures out that they're not 2 core teachers and it's required by them, Georgetown is a big offender of this as well, they will push you to regular action and say, oh, you need to get your recommenders sorted out. So please remember that, so important. Common misconceptions. Let's move on to that, right? Common misconceptions. We hear guidance counselors all the time talk about, don't get too many recommendations. Colleges don't like that. Well, you can't technically even do that because they get to say who else they will take. They'll tell you how many teachers are required and how many optional that they'll take. They will also tell you what they will take for other recommenders. And for Boston College, they're listing quite a bit of other recommenders that you can add here. So think about when you're picking other recommenders, think about a camera going all around you. We want a 360 view of who you are. So pick other teachers. Maybe it's an art teacher, maybe it's a priest, maybe it's a coach. It doesn't have to be a coach that's at the high school team either. It could be a club team or travel team, an employer, also maybe a foreign language teacher or someone that you did community service with or shadowed to see what their occupation is like. I would stay away from family members as well as peers unless the college requires that, or they may come back after you submit an application and ask mom or dad to submit a recommendation, but they should not be doing that unless the college asks for that. Over here, you get to, depending upon the systems that your high school uses for recommendations, reporting your grades, and things of that nature, you would either place the email of your teachers or recommenders in here, choose your relationship, and add them in here. Or if you're using something like Naviance, you would add them in Naviance and it would connect here once you've signed the FERPA form way up here, okay? And just a note, you need to be using your high school email, especially if you're using Naviance, okay? So let's just move on from other recommenders to the timeline. For your core teachers, I would be going into their classroom around the April timeframe and just asking unofficially, hey, do you feel comfortable writing a college recommendation letter for me? Many core teachers have a maximum that they'll write the recommendation for. You want to be at the front of that line. Then you can let them know, oh, I'll give you my resume in May. Let me know if you need anything else. Some teachers or some schools require a brag sheet or for you to answer additional questions in order for them to write the recommendation. A good tip for this is downloading the Common App teacher evaluation so you can see the questions they ask, the characteristics they're looking for, and you can add some of those into your brag sheet so that you can help lead them to write a better recommendation for you. So I want to just step back to tech issues. If your school's using Naviance or some other system for connecting your recommendations to your college application, go to guidance and ask them exactly what the protocol is, or is there another? Sometimes schools will have a Google Doc that you'll fill out to notify them about who's doing your recommendations for what schools. Make sure you follow that protocol, and sometimes they even want about $4 or $5 per transcript that will be sent out, and they won't send it out until you pay that. So it's a lot of little pieces to pull together, but your most important task is get those 2 core teacher recommenders real early, like in April, and ask and remind again and again. And another little secret is you can actually see when they start the report on here once you've invited them, and you can see when they've submitted it. So always be checking on that, especially as you get closer to your deadlines. So thank you so much. Hope this is helpful.